My name is Paul Moleta. I'm a full-time singer-songwriter. I also play in a U2 tribute band. I've always loved writing from a very young age and singing. Life sort of took me on a different path. I was born with a spinal condition. It's just been a challenge all my life, but I'm pretty blessed to continue to do what I love doing best, and that's music and writing songs.
Hi, I'm Shayne Cook and I'm a producer at Hunting Ground Studios. Been with Hunting Ground Studios since the start, about 15 years ago. Actually a bit of a late bloomer into production. I was in another role, and probably only over the last 3 or 4 years have I really taken it on more full-time.
It was a pleasure to be introduced to Shayne, the producer for the album.
We were introduced through a friend who's also musical and played in a band with Paul. He'd recorded an album over in Ireland a bunch of years ago and was looking to do the follow-up release, and wanted to find someone who'd kind of push him to make his music into something new and fresh.
Shayne certainly took me to a whole new different levels as a singer-songwriter, and it's just made me feel very, very comfortable that I could just be as open and free to express as an artist, songwriter and singer.
With any solo artist, recording 10 songs is a little bit of a process. Solo artists don't have the band. With the band, there's already been a whole bunch of chatter about, you know, what we want, what we want our sounds to be. Whereas with the solo artist, you've kind of got to shape that a little bit. There was a bunch of stuff that had really clicked to me, and that was to zone in on someone's own unique sound and getting them to push themselves on what they're doing with their voice. I think sometimes vocalists, whether they know it or not, they might have an Americana twist or a country twist because they've been listening to a lot of this sort of music. Whereas I think sometimes what the world really wants to hear is their own unique voice, and so it's really confronting to actually change the way that you've sung something because you're so used to hearing yourself do it in a certain way. We both were like, oh, is this right or not? But we kind of really got there. That was particularly interesting because he's a professional musician working in covers and tribute bands and stuff like that, was to try and strip away all these other influences and find the real Paul's voice. And that's all through, like, let's try some things. Let's change keys. Let's try and take that extra part that you're doing on your voice and take that away. Yeah, that was one thing that I really felt with this album that we really worked through. The first song Paul brought to me, Lost Without You, was quite groundbreaking to work on because it was about Paul's mother.
Lost Without You is a song I really wish I didn't have to write, but it was very important to whom I wrote it for. It's my beautiful mum, who we lost to pancreatic cancer. By far, it's the most difficult song to record. I knew I needed to go to certain places to really give the song its full emotion.
We recorded the vocals for it, and Paul broke down, and even though that's completely understandable, it's really brave to go to that place because it's where you're really feeling the song.
As a songwriter and as a performer, a vocalist, our main role is to express emotion to the listener. To take yourself to that place where it breaks you. Yeah, it wasn't easy.
The first song was all about getting to know each other enough that you're comfortable. From there, because that was such an emotional song, it really broke that barrier of us working together, and then the process became quicker and more fluid. That first song's always a tough one, particularly when it's about such an emotional topic.
We captured that emotion, and I know it would be very, very special for my mum and she would love me to share the song with the world.
Now I find myself alone, picking up this broken
Shayne
line.
introduced the piano. I mean, I know to play a little bit of guitar. I'm not much of a piano player. In fact, I'm not a piano player at all. I'm sort of like a one-finger player. But the emotion that you can feel from a piano certainly created a lot of justice for the emotion of the song.
The production process evolves. I definitely found that by the end of the album, which we're actually tracking the last song now, you get into a bit of a rhythm, you understand where you can be open and where the benefits are of pushing the artist, because everyone's looking for, you know, their sound to be as good as possible. You have to just be open to playing, seeing if someone's comfortable to change things, and with Paul, he's always been pretty open-minded. It's not always a perfect process. Sometimes I think as the producer, you're not as involved in the song as the writer or the artist. Trying to really feel into that place that the artist is feeling. Sometimes I think I can be a bit, oh yeah, but you know, the melody and the phrasing, we need to make that better, or whatever, and just be a bit focused on, you know, the very song writing aspect of it, because that's one of my favourite parts, is writing songs. Kind of probably pulled back my stance on needing to get my producer mind and having to make the best song in the world. You know, I think as production, apart from the technical skills and everything like that, it's very people-based. You need to be able to connect enough to draw that emotion, and for people to feel comfortable enough to really go to that place.
I guess subconsciously I didn't really think about it, how to navigate through it. The strength was given from above, and it will be the same strength to perform it live. When life sort of throws these curveballs at you, I think we need to understand that we're not alone. During the course of our lives, we're going to end up going through it. I just feel as a songwriter and as a performer, it is important to let it out. And you just don't know that it may comfort another. Just before Mum passed, her sister-in-law, my auntie, passed away. And Mum wanted to attend the funeral. And just a few days before the funeral, it was bucketing down rain, so at the cemetery it was just complete mud. And Mum was beside me in a wheelchair holding my hand. And I can feel her hand squeezing me tighter. And I looked at Mum, we looked at each other, and without saying a word, we knew that the next funeral that I would attend would be hers. And it just felt that day that my whole world just sunk into that mud.
With all those late nights, whiskey blues, but it doesn't seem to break away of losing you. Now it feels like the rain came pouring down, and it sunk me to the ground, drowning me in mud. As life keeps getting tough, I'm still holding on, 'cause I'm lost without you.
If they're not prepared to be vulnerable because they're like, oh, I've got to, you know, be perfect and everything like that, you're actually not going to get what you need. And the funny thing with a couple of the songs with Paul's album was that we used the pre-production vocals. Takes where it was, we were just writing the song and we went back and re-recorded the vocals, and we were like, no, we got that, you know, in the pre-production. And for me, being like wanting everything to be perfect, oh no, we should get this, because probably didn't put as much care into the, you know, the signal flow or everything like that in that, but it was just the take because Paul was feeling it. It wasn't that when we retracked it, it was bad. It was just that on that day, because that was where the real feeling was. And I've heard that a lot. I think Adele did that on one of her famous tracks. It was like, oh, we can't beat the pre-production vocals. So that was cool. It was like really realizing that sometimes the perfection and you getting it all crisp and neat isn't always the main thing. It's that real, okay, how did it feel sort of on the day?
Looking back at it now, probably most definitely it was healing. I don't think I sort of understood that when I wrote it. I just knew that before Mum passed, well, you know, chatting along, and Mum said, I hope one day you write a song about me. I know that unfortunately, there's many out there that never got a chance to be with their loved ones at their last sort of days or moments, or even to say a final goodbye. I got to say, I thank God every day that He gave me that opportunity and that blessing to be with Mum. Prior to that, 3 years, I was in and out, travelling to and from Ireland, recording an album and touring and performing and what for. So I sort of didn't spend a lot of time with Mum. But as I came back in October 2019, Mum was diagnosed in December. And from the day she was diagnosed to the day Mum left us, I was with her every day. You know it's coming, that day is coming, but it never prepares you for a final goodbye. But I look back and I say, I was pretty blessed to have the last 3 months with Mum. 12 days before Mum passed, she was in and out of sort of sleep, coma. And she woke up, because I was there with her every day. And she said to me, oh, Paul, we were at this beautiful green park. And I was trying to sort of, ask her, Mum, which sort of park were we at, where we've been throughout life. And Mum said, no, we've never been into this park. It was just so beautiful, the colours, the smell, the warmth. And I guess on a spiritual front there, I knew that Mum was already sort of experiencing heaven there.
Gone all the days when we talked a while. Green Park, walk along with a smile. I never knew this life of emptiness.
So when Mum passed on the 24th of March 2020, it was just a couple of days when it was the first lockdowns in Melbourne. And there was all that thing that, people couldn't attend funerals and so forth, but we were very blessed to bring Mum home for viewing and to say our final goodbyes. And on the day of the funeral, on the Saturday, the 28th of March, as we carried Mum out of home to bring her to her resting place, I saw these beautiful white butterflies. And they were there at home, and when we laid Mum down to rest and when we returned home. So it was very important to put the butterfly in
I'm still holding on, 'cause I'm lost without you. I'm still lost without you. Gone are the days when we used to laugh.
The song is certainly its own special emotion, its own special story. It was very important that I would record this song, because I know As I was saying before, Mum, she would love for me to share this song with the world.
I think, you know, the album over the 10 songs has really taken a sound which has been different from Paul's last album, and really kind of captures the emotion of the songs and what Paul's putting into it from the writing perspective.
Obviously, it's open to interpretation of who listens to the album. You'll find that every single song on the album has its own personality, has its own character, has its own story to tell.